Hi everyone, James here from Akamai. We're here at ChannelCon, so it's the final day, and I've run into Vicki Bruns.
Yes.
And you're basically responsible for the ConnectWise ecosystem.
Yes, I'm one of the advocates for the ConnectWise ecosystem at ConnectWise. Yes, on our ecosystem team, and it's so great running into you, James. We ran into each other last year.
We did. That's when we first met, watching some ducks. This is going to sound really
Let's tell
strange.
the story real quick.
You go down that route. You feel free.
Okay. So, and apparently in Chicago every year they have a duck race of little plastic duckies that they put into the river.
By the tens of thousands.
And they literally had a dump truck full of rubber ducks, and that's literally how I met James. And he said, "Hey, did you know that this is happening right now?" And so we both ran outside to go watch this rubber duck
Joint
race.
love of watching ducks get thrown in en masse into the river, but it's kind of cool. And
and there's a method to the rubber duck madness. I feel like, right? You basically buy a rubber duck, and then whoever wins, you get some money, but most of it goes to like a nonprofit or charity. So yeah, it was pretty fun. And we're here in ChannelCon in Vegas this year.
Yes, it's slightly different. I loved ChannelCon last year. It was huge for me. I met so many great people, but I guess it was the being exposed to the sort of the US community in particular. For me, it was like a real kind of step forward. There's so many great people there, and it's the same thing here. Like if you're not here, hopefully you've got a bit of FOMO, but it's really a great one for the networking side, isn't it? There's a great community here.
It is. There's such a wonderful network of vendors and MSPs that have been part of this community for forever. There's also, since CompTIA has the certifications, there's a lot of universities that are here too, right?
Yes, I keep trying to pitch them MSP products and services. Right. But we've had some great chats with them anyway. I mean, it is relevant, so it is nice to see them here actually. And I sat yesterday with someone and he was like, it's fantastic to be exposed to all these products because, you know, in the future or with my students, I want to be able to present to them like the latest tech and also sit in the talks, and so it's definitely value in them doing it.
Yeah, well, and maybe it's a good opportunity to kind of see the future of the managed service space too, right?
I think that's
connecting with these universities. I don't know, I'm just saying. Since they're already here, we're all here together. It could be a good opportunity. But I like it. Yeah. So to give you kind of a quick background on what I do at ConnectWise, so I do work on our ecosystem team. I know it sounds a little ambiguous, but what that means is I work really with the vendor partnerships at ConnectWise and making sure that we help to guide vendors through the integration process through the ConnectWise platform, which is really a subset of our RMM solutions, our PSA solution. We also have, through acquisitions, we have ConnectWise SIM, which was formerly known as Perch, BrightGauge, ConnectWise Screen Connect was called Control.
It's an all-encompassing beast that just swallows up other entities.
Yes, there's so many different points, integration points that vendors can connect into. And so one of the things that we look forward to is our ASIO platform, which is going to really kind of give, it's going to be, you know, one subset of APIs to rule them all. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, you know, where it'll be easy to just have our partners stay in one place for their PSA and RMM needs, and then we'll bring in other solutions as well. And then as a vendor, it's one set of APIs to hook into versus all of these different sets of APIs. Because in some instances, we have vendors hook into those APIs, and then other instances, we have to actually hook into the vendor's APIs. Right.
And with the size of the products that you have, I imagine that's something that you want to try and avoid. And
totally not scalable.
No.
Right. Yeah. So if we can bring everything in and say, here's one set of APIs that you hook into for ConnectWise partners to be able to leverage, then it just makes it easier for everyone. So really look forward to that.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Sounds good. So obviously you're here representing ConnectWise as well, but that's not all. So you're heavily involved with CompTIA.
Yeah.
Should we talk a little bit about what you're doing at the moment within CompTIA?
Sure. Yeah, and for those of you who are listening in, if you're not involved with CompTIA yet and you're considering membership, there's a lot of different ways to get involved with CompTIA. So if you do become a member as a managed service provider, a reseller, or even a distributor, or a vendor.
How I joined. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I want to hear that story. Yeah.
So many moons ago, that was it. So back in the UK, I ran a value-added distributor, and this was such a great way to access not only just the community and the people there and to go to the events, but also the content, the fact you can get white labels, really like amazing content's coming out frequently. You know, as a smaller company, that was massively beneficial, because we can be putting out, you know, latest industry trends and things without necessarily us having to go out and produce that kind of thing ourselves. So
yes,
there was an awful lot there, and it's as always with CompTIA, it's finding where the value is, but also then making sure you make the most of it.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the point, is that there's so much value here in the certifications, the content that's put out by CompTIA, the networking, I belong to one of the advisory councils at CompTIA called the Channel Development Advisory Council. And there's a few other councils. There's like the AI Council, Cybersecurity Council.
There's lots. Tell me about yours. I'd like to know more about
that. Okay, so this is made up of managed service providers. It's made up of vendors and also distributors as well. And so it's great to have representation from each of those categories, because then we just talk about, usually the way that we open up our meetings are, you know, what's keeping you up at night? Okay. And then we go through that to figure out what type of content would be viable for the channel at that point in time.
Can I put you on the spot then? So is there can you think of any pieces that have come out of that particular, like any conversations maybe that you that have driven a piece of content specifically?
Sure. So the content that we're working on right now, and I know there's a few different pieces of content that are coming out of the advisory council. We've got a lot of people on this council. So we're dividing and conquering between 3 different projects. Okay. And so our project is the future of channel programs. If you are a managed service provider, what are the types of channel programs that are out there, and what are the best practices of how to leverage those channel programs? And if I'm a vendor and I'm considering creating a channel program, what is a blueprint, and what are the things that I need to consider to make sure that I'm building out a successful channel program? That's
such a valuable piece of content. The number of startups I speak to, and they've seen some interest from MSPs, and they want to provide that sort of MSP-friendly experience with whatever it might be, multi-tenancy and billing that suits the MSP model and so on.
Yes.
To have some kind of framework that you can say, hey, that's a really good starting point. I can definitely see the value in that.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of that content that exists today. If you are a CompTIA member, you get access to that through the resources. But outside of the councils, there's also the technology interest groups. And so those are much larger, but I mean, you're part of CompTIA, and you're part of the UK, community of CompTIA.
Executive Council, Executive Community Council.
Executive Community Council, okay.
Nothing in CompTIA is a short title. That's right.
But I think that's another cool component, is that the CompTIA is global. And so there's so many opportunities, no matter where you are in the world, to get involved with CompTIA in some sort of capacity. So if you're an MSP and you're looking to meet other managed service providers or other vendors in the space, then CompTIA is a great way to do it. And again, there's like subsets of the technology interest groups, like the Advancing Women in Technology. We've got
the AI and emerging tech, right? So that was one of the other ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of great things. And also, as a member, as a vendor, you get a booth at ChannelCon, right?
That's it. And the other thing is, CompTIA is expanding rapidly. So they've just started a new chapter in the DACH region. I think in the Asian region as well. Yes. So it's definitely the global thing has never been more the case. So make sure you get involved.
Absolutely, make sure you get involved.
And memberships are really reasonable. So definitely can't recommend that enough. So I think we've plugged CompTIA quite nicely.
I know we did. They can give us our rebate.
Some kind of kickback's going to be coming our way. Yeah. Definitely. All right. Okay. So let's switch gears slightly then. So you've got some projects you're working on at the moment, or a project in particular.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about your?
I would love to.
Yeah,
yes.
Go for it.
So the ConnectWise ecosystem, what we're currently working on right now, and I kind of mentioned it earlier with the ASIO platform, is we are really building out, again, a way for vendors to be able to hook into one platform. The ConnectWise RMM solution is really what's available today, but PSA, all these other components of the ConnectWise platform will start being presented within that platform as well. So that way adoption will increase, right, from an MSP perspective. But from a vendor perspective, what we're super stoked about is really having, for those of you who are like automate or lab tech, if we're going back in the day.
I'm sure there'll be plenty watching. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's the solution center, right, where if you're an MSP, you can go and you can like download a plugin and set up that integration immediately. There's some really great stuff that we'll be able to do within the ASIO platform, and it will be available for partners to be able to just kind of browse the catalog and see what's going on out there. But in the meantime, until that comes to fruition, we also have our marketplace, marketplace.connectwise.com, that anybody can go see. And that gives you kind of an idea of what all of the integrations exist within the ConnectWise ecosystem. And so the way that we become notified, the way that marketplace tiles are created, so there's a tile for every vendor, is the vendor usually reaches out to us and tells us, hey, I wrote an integration, or I'm interested in writing integrations into the ConnectWise platform. And then that's when we create the tiles, and it gives you, the integration points of how everything connects into that specific platform.
I think it's definitely one of the biggest marketplaces out there, isn't it? I'm pretty sure of all the products I can think of.
300 vendor tiles that exist today, and it's growing every day. So
definitely,
it's pretty cool.
There's always something new going on at ConnectWise, isn't there? For sure. And I guess the best place to find out more about it is going to be IT Nation towards the end of the year. So
IT Nation,
that's going to be lots of fun.
So please come and see us. We would love to see you in Orlando. It is in Florida. It's in November, so it's not going to be super cold. It's not going to be snowing. I don't think in Florida that time.
You never quite know.
Right. But we would love for everybody to come and join us down in Orlando for that event. Yeah, we think we had 4,500 people last year, and also what was it like? It was a
hurricane, and we were all trapped in the hotel. It was a bonding experience.
It was just like strong winds. It was fine. Yeah. I'm sure you probably have strong winds sometimes.
I'm not sitting like that. I've lived my life, I'll be quite honest with you. Hey, listen. So as well as the ConnectWise stuff, you're also as a podcast on the horizon, I believe, for you. So
yes.
Tell me some more about that. We never got into that. So tell me what that's going to be.
Yes, yeah. So next month, a dear friend of mine, Jeannie Berry, who works with me at ConnectWise, we're both launching a podcast called Bridge Builders, and it's the Chronicles of Diversity and Leadership in Technology. And so we would love to bring people into our podcast to talk about their stories of how they got into this space. Because depending on who you are, everybody has a different story about how they got into the channel or into technology.
So it's the MSP space. Is it the MSP space in particular, or anywhere around any technology area?
We're going to start out in the MSP space, but we do have other friends that we're going to be bringing in just from the technology space in general. So hopefully this will give people that are kind of on the fence or maybe don't know how to get into technology an understanding of what's available out there and really how to do it. So
I love that. I know you're going to absolutely smash it. I've seen some of your LinkedIn content and some of the video stuff you do. You're definitely a natural, so I'm sure that's going to be good stuff.
Well, thank you.
That's all right. No worries. Listen, it's been wonderful talking to you.
You can come join me too on the podcast.
Well, that's why I'm trying to butter you up. That's the thing. I reckon I'll get in there at least on episode 5 if possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it.
When you're really stuck, I can come. We can have that chat. Anyway, listen, it's been so nice talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me. And we've got some more talks to go to. It's not over yet. We've still got some rest of the day to go. So,
4 more hours. 4 more hours.
4 more hours. Yeah. Anyway, listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful, and really nice to have Vicki on.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure hanging out with you, James.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.